What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Guru Pod. We're going to be breaking down everything under UFC 322, how JDM didn't really come prepared for Islam Makhachev's wrestling. What else we got on the docket?
Well, first of all, again, Makhachev's dominant performance against Della Maddalena. I'm definitely going to be having some takes about that. And also Shevchenko versus Zhang, which was very similar to the Della Maddalena versus Makhachev fight, and some of the other highlights from the card, and there were many. Morales destroying Sean Brady in the first round by TKO. Prates, headshot dead, over Leon Edwards with a vicious KO win in round 2. Sent the knee in 16 seconds. And even Bo Nickal scoring KOs. We're also going to be discussing Sarukian versus Hooker and Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Gary, which is coming up this weekend. Little early breakdown of UFC 323 with Merab FINISHES versus Yan 2, the rematch. But we have a lot to discuss on today's episode of the Mighty Guru Show. Stay tuned. He's out cold badly. John Jones' defense out of Demetrious Johnson there at the end. I am a piece of shit, but my content's really good. Try and look beyond how terrible of a person I am.
The Mighty Guru Show.
What's going on, guys? This episode of the Mighty Guru Podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports game played directly from your phone or your computer. It's very simple. Go to your app store, download Prize Pick. When you do that, use our promo code Mighty Guru. New users, you play $5 and you get $50 instantly in your lineup. Now, we had UFC on the event board, and I went with less with all of my picks, and guess what, guys? It went the distance. So I took a fat L. Drew, how'd you do, brother?
I made the rookie mistake of going for more in Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez, where Blanchfield got a finish in the second round. I took it for more than 2.5 total rounds. I took the Shevchenko Zhang for more than 4.5, and I took the Makhachev Della Maddalena for more than 1.5. So I was one away.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, as long as we're having a good time, making it picks at the right place, which is Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode of the Mighty Guru Pod. Now, I hope you guys enjoy this chat with me and Guru on this amazing event of UFC 322. Enjoy.
Let me get...
Look at that face. It was an amazing fight last night. The technique that Islam put on your boy JDM. Yeah.
Us JDM fans have been cursed with the curse of the face of round 4 JDM.
Yeah.
In his corner.
Dude,
demoralized, dude. It was like a harrowing experience witnessing what he did, controlling him in that way. It's humiliation. It really is.
Well, his face almost looked like, you know, the beginning of the fight, I was like, man, JDM looks mad. He looks pissed. He looks like he knows he's in for a war, right? He knows he's going against one of the GOATs of this time. And come round 3, 4, even the 5th one, I felt like he was opening up presents for Christmas and he didn't get the toy he wanted. Like, he felt sad. He felt like something was wrong. Right? Like something was wrong. He was flat-footed, not getting off, not using that crisp boxing. And Islam did a great job of not allowing JDM to scramble, not allowing him to be able to, you know, he would get on this post like this, and then Islam would reach across and do 2-on-1, just basic wrestling and pull him off that 2-on-1. But I thought it was an amazing fight. I thought it was a great fight. I know a lot of people out there thought it was
you're lying. You're lying. You are lying. That's not I like DJ. If that's an amazing fight, what is Adesanya Gastelum? Is that like
epic.
Supernova like epic? Okay,
epic. I think we're in a time right now when it comes to mixed martial arts where you have to go into the fight appreciating what the athlete is doing, right? Like,
okay.
Is it like, oh my, is it Carlos Prates versus Leon Edwards? No, it's not. No, it's not. Is it, Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria? No, it's not. Even those fights were ended quickly. Obviously Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates got to the second round, but I have a appreciation for the way he went about doing it and being able to just dismantle somebody who beat the bricks off of Bilal Muhammad, right? So was it am I going to rewatch it and be like, God damn, this fight was fucking amazing. Oh my God. No. But I think it's on the note of an amazing of like how he was so technical, being able to put JDM on his back over and over and over again.
I can meet you in the middle at great performance. Let's just, you know what? Let's just put our hands together. It was a great performance. But it wasn't a great fight because JDM got dominated, and that doesn't make for a great fight. Like, he got held on the ground for 5 rounds. I think Makhachev threw 0 significant strikes in round 5. And I know that he was like in moments cranking JDM into discomfort, but we never saw him jump a guillotine, a dash choke, really locked in where he rolled for it, or go for an arm at any point, or at one point he attempted like a straight arm lock on Jack, and it wasn't really there. It almost like I don't think it was a great fight, to be honest with you. It was a great performance from Makhachev, but my great fight is like, I'd give Merab Umar is a really good fight. Like, that's a solid fight because they're both going back and forth. They're scrambling. There's moments. There's twos and throws. But people are like, I think there's Makhachev fans. And listen, there are Makhachev fans. And they want to see him win. And I get that there's the other side of that coin. But to say it's wow, you can be happy for his victory. You can be happy for his performance. But I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more. I think some of the crowd wanted to see more. They were walking out before the end to beat the traffic. That's never good for the pound for pound number one. But with Makhachev, again, it's like Chimaev. I think it's the same situation. He dominated Jack. We can talk about the technicality of the fight a bit more in a second. But I think it's the same with Chimaev. He moved up to face a bigger opponent, and it wasn't smushed him into whatever I want like he did at lightweight and like Chimaev did at welterweight in moments as well, or against lesser opponents at middleweight that are a bit smaller. But when they fought someone bigger, the bigger opponent can survive where the smaller opponent can be manipulated into things. Like, he could manipulate Jack away from what JDM wanted. Yeah. But he couldn't manipulate him into what he wanted. Like, he couldn't just force him into a dash choke, or then the scramble would occur and maybe he'd lose position. Who knows? So instead, he just kind of just took away everything Jack wanted. Got wrist control every time he tried to post up, cramped him up on the ground every time he tried to get posture. So it was more just Makhachev keeping Jack away from anything he wanted once he had the initial takedown. And as far as the initial takedown, I mean, 4 for 4 on double legs. Yeah, because we don't see that from him. Yeah, and I think it's because, when I was doing the breakdown, each time Jack got taken down in his previous fights, it was always in the middle of the octagon. When he was against the cage, he was always successful. And prior to this fight, going into it, Craig Jones and us exchanged words. And I was like, if Islam shoots in the middle of the octagon, he's going to get it. He goes, yeah, we kind of know that, so we're trying to prepare for that. But I think, how in MMA do we get to a point where, we can appreciate, I think we're in the middle here, like you just said, but I feel like a lot of fans don't appreciate that. Like, it's mixed martial arts, right? Like, I'm even, I'm at the arena here in Tokyo with Michael. Michael's like, oh man, I heard the fight was just horrible. And I was like, I don't want to say it was horrible. I wasn't fucking horrible. I was like, one guy just got dominated. Like, we're in this age of mixed martial arts where a guy absolutely dominates somebody. Everybody's like, oh, the fight was horrible. It fucking sucked. I understand, like you said, we want more, but you got to take it for what it is. And like, hey, that guy just way fucking better than another guy. Like, there's nothing he could do. And I said it earlier during the stream, I was like, I think it was a lot better for Islam to go up and fight JDM just because he's a welterweight champion. Like, if he would have beat Ilia Topuria at 155, it's like, I just beat another smaller guy. Granted, I don't think the fight would have gone like that, or maybe it would have, but, Islam it'd be more competitive. I think 155 Makhachev he'd be more competitive there. At 170, it's like, again, lighter man skill. It is lighter man skill. Lucas Tracy recently re-retired for the second time in his career. But this might bring him back. Another lighter man skill situation where the guy moving up just has this technical advantage over the guy at the higher weight class because he's been in a tougher talent pool in his original weight class to grind through the lightweight regional scene at 155 and to go through the unranked area of the lightweight division, all of the names that you had to go through of like this college wrestler, this jiu-jitsu black belt, ADCC this, I mean, like Davey Ramos and Chris Wade, and you come up against these specialist styles, Thiago Moises, who has jiu-jitsu, whereas at welterweight it seems like it's more like Prates, he smokes and he drinks and he's powerful.
Yep.
It's not like there's this well-funded, like even Michael Morales, he has Olympian parents, but still there's not like that like it's not the same as it is at lightweight, you know what I mean, with how the foundations of these guys. Even Jack's a teenager who picked up MMA and is a fucking scrapper.
Yep.
And he gets by, but at lightweight, you have to be an Oliveira or a Makhachev or a Khabib. And then the exception is McGregor, but he's like the 1 in a million does it because he just has this different thing about him or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why I said mixed martial arts is the easiest sport to become a world champion in, because you can have deficiency somewhere and you meet somebody who's like, oh, dude, you can't wrestle? Oh, perfect. I just take you down and put you on your back and take you off your post over and over. And, you know, like you said, they don't have that depth of knowledge of the martial arts side of it. Right, like you said, Charles Oliveira started doing jiu-jitsu when he was fucking a kid, and he's done jiu-jitsu his whole entire life, and then list just goes on to those guys. I never looked at it that way though. Like when you think about that, how you just said, like the talent pool at 155 from the beginning that Islam went through was way tougher. And when you said that, like, I don't know what Bilal Muhammad's background is, I don't know what Leon Edwards' background is. Kamaru Usman, wrestler, right? Before Kamaru Usman, I think it was Tyron Woodley, wrestler.
And look what they did on their, they got to the championship. You're naming champions here.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas to name people with this background at lightweight, I can point to unranked guys, you know, that are outside the top 15. But Bilal had a college background in wrestling, I'm sure. He wrestled at school. Yeah. But it's different. The potency of their credibility is different for sure.
Yeah. Well, and wrestling doesn't start. Yeah, and I think that wrestling doesn't start. It's not like they're wrestling when they're 5, 6, 7, right? They start wrestling, you know, oh shit, I'm in middle school. You know, I don't want to play basketball. I'll start wrestling where, you know, like you said, I'm sure, you know, when we had Islam on, he started, you know, training when he was in like, I think elementary. That's what they do over in Dagestan, right? So, but I think it was a great fight from Islam, taking out your boy JDM. And I like JDM. I think he's great. I think he does a lot of good stuff, but I just think he could not answer for the, you know, 2 to 3 years at Dagestan. You good? And they invited Craig Jones over there as well to show him how the jiu-jitsu needs to work.
Yeah, he might need 4 to 5 years in Dagestan. I'll be honest with you. It's not 2-3 years might not be enough in Dagestan. And DJ, I can't meet you there. I know that you're different. You love the art of the sport. Like Makhachev to you is like this, like, oh my God, he's such a great martial artist. And I love that as well. And there is a part of me that's doing that. But when it's 6 hours building up, and I've been waiting for this for months, and I've seen my little JDM go from the regional scene all the way up until this moment, and now it's his time to shine. And then it's like it's humiliation. This is the worst way to lose. We found it out. This is the worst fucking way to lose. This was Chimaev DDP part 2. Yeah. Same dynamic for me as a fan. Same dynamic in terms of a caucus fighter moving up a weight class to wrestle a guy who's big, tough, scrappy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was basically the same dynamic. And it's the worst fucking way to just KO him in the first round, man. Yeah. I'll take that. I used to think that was the worst, right? When you think about fighting, like, oh, just don't get slept out cold in the first round. That'd be really bad. Or don't get submitted early. That'd be terrible. Yeah. This is worse. Yeah. This is way worse. Because it was a moment where, like, JDM's on the ground. Maybe he hurt something in the fight. Like, maybe Makhachev manipulating him in that way, like, cracked something in him or did something, but I felt like he was in pain in a position where he shouldn't have been in pain. Like, that's how bad it was of a smush, like a wet blanket where he's on him. And I can see JDM's face, like out the armpit of Makhachev, trying to get space, and he's like, like that on the ground. Like that's such a bad look for 5 rounds to get smushed. It's the worst way to lose. We found it out. This is the worst way to be nullified and held for 5 minutes in whatever way, with a couple strikes mixed in or what. It's the worst. Put me out of my misery. Let me know I went out on my shield. Give me a hero's death. Don't just fucking prove that you could have your way with me for 25 minutes on live television. This is horrible. You know what I mean? This is horrific. Well, I bet Makhachev might have whispered, if we were in a cell right now, this would, you know what I mean? Like, that's the worst way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there you go.
I think he did. The hardest thing is that I think if JDM would have wrestled up more, then I think he would have got captured in that darce that he hits everybody with. But each time JDM would get on that post, he would go 2-on-1, and then he would go back to his back and just be smushed, just be smushed. I would hope to think that, maybe a month from now, JDM might come out and say, like, I had an injury in the camp. Because he was fighting like something was wrong. Like, obviously, Islam did crack him with those leg kicks to attack the calf. But JDM was good about going southpaw to orthodox, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, he's landing the calf kicks, but he does good work in both stance, right? He's able to get his hands off. But the corner man was probably one of my favorite part about the fight. You want to talk about, like, what I was enjoying about the fight? I enjoyed the fight, but the corner man, he was like, come on, man, you haven't even hurt the cunt. Put your hands on him, JDM. Come on, Jack. Put your hands on him. Look, he hasn't been a welt on him. And I was like, man.
I think he even said that in the corner. He said, take that fucking look off your face, or something like that in the corner.
Where I
take that look off your face, because he did have that, like, really, like he'd been violated, basically. Like, it was a tough watch as a JDM fan for sure. But continue your point on on his
the corner man was like, like you said, take that look off your face. But he just felt defeated. Like, he just felt defeated. Yeah. And at the very end of the fight, the one thing that I love is there's sportsmanship between them, right? Like, they separated, they looked at each other, and Jaden was like, yeah, you got me. Like, I had no answer for your skill set. Then they go over there and they talk to you, they shake hands with everybody. And I wish that, it pisses me off. You want to talk about, you get pissed off on stuff that happens. What pisses me off the most is that give JDM a chance to fucking address the fans. Give JDM, maybe JDM didn't want to do that, right? But I wanted to hear.
They gave it to Zhang Weili. Similar fight.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, I don't want to start that fight, but we'll get to that fight next.
That one's boring to you. Is that what we're hearing? Hold on. That one's boring. Okay, buddy, Mr. Misogynist over here. I know I've got to watch what I say after the fights, but we're seeing some double standards here.
Oh, damn it. I'm
crazy stuff.
I'll always keep it real. I always keep it real when but let's get back. I just wanted them to address JDM, and maybe JDM didn't want to address the crowd, right? But I wanted to know what was going through JDM's mind. I wanted to know, like, hey, the top pressure was just too much for me to handle, or the calf kicks. It's almost like I was invested into, and I'm still invested in his story, but I was invested in the fight. I want to hear from him. I even checked the press conference. I didn't see anything on there. That's what pisses me off, right? You want to talk about, grinds your gears? That grinds my fucking gears. It's like acidic, hot, boiling diarrhea. I want to know what happened, right? I want to know why I had diarrhea. Was it Taco Bell? Was it the Burger King? I want to know. So I want to know what was going through JDM's mind after that fight. So if you want to be pissed off about something, that's what I was pissed off about. Not about the dominant performance from Islam Makhachev.
Let him speak his piece. You want to know how. Like, I understand what I'm watching. I understand that Makhachev's out grappling. But let me hear this from the victim. Let me hear this from the receiving end.
Exactly.
Was it the wrist control? I just couldn't shake the grip on wrist control. It's like a different guy squeezing you there. I know he had the grip strength, fucking crazy thing. And he nearly broke Khalil Rountree's record, who's a light heavyweight, which is insane for him to do. So I want to hear that from JDM. Like, what was it? What? Give the next guy a fucking chance. Like, give him a heads up. Let's sound the distress signals. Light the fucking flares off, JDM. Let us know what's going on down there. Is it this? Is it that? We need a full Ilya needs to do an interview with JDM behind the scenes and just be like, so what was it?
Yeah.
What really was going on here? I know Ilya was trashing him on Twitter about he needs to do this. Absolutely pathetic. Even Ian Gary was saying the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. And all of this type of stuff. But, you know, that's the situation. JDM lost. I like the low kick. I think Makhachev's an underrated game planner. I know it's not what everyone wants to see. They want to see, he's got an advantage. Push it. Dominate it. Finish it. 10-8 it. That's what a lot of people want. But I think he's an underrated game planner. You know, he knows JDM's going to be coming out of a wide stance. Low kicks are there for him. Didn't entertain the boxing too much unless he saw that JDM was tucked up in his guard. You know, and once he saw he was tucked up in his guard, he was like, okay, I can throw at the guard. Or I can shoot underneath and get the double leg, you know? Like, he's not going to body, head on JDM because then you get caught up in like an extended combination with Jack, and that's where he does his work. Even in round 3, that was like his only moment of success was when Makhachev actually did go for an extended combination when he tucked up behind his guard, got the clinch. And while he was kneeing JDM was ripping body, head, body, head. That was like his only moment in the fight. And it was because Makhachev, for a second, strayed away from that perfect game plan of backing up, low kick, throw shots close to get the guard up, and then boom, double leg, get the takedown. Maybe throw a head kick out there to stop Jack dipping down. You know what I mean? So he didn't want to like lean into anything because that's normally how Jack stuffs the takedowns, right? That he dips down, he meets them with his head, he meets them with his guard, he gets the underhook. But yeah, this was tough. And it also made me feel like it's moments like this where I'm like, wow, Jack, the narrative you can have is, wow, JDM had no grappling defense.
Yeah.
And I think, what the fuck is how did Belal not take him down then? Like, the fight, it's one of those things, right? I know there's differences between the fights, but you wonder that sometimes, right? And it might just be the level of Makhachev in this fight or the level of Chimaev against DDP. But you wonder when you watch these matchups, like, how the fuck did no one?
How can nobody else do this?
There, yeah, I know. How can nobody else do this? It's like, yeah, that's just the fucking level this fucking guy's been grappling at since 3 years. 3 years of age. The timing's perfect. The wrist control's perfect. The distribution of weight is perfect. The cramping him. Round 2 was the worst moment for me because JDM did stuff a takedown. It didn't show on the stats, but he did stuff one with the whizzer, and he tried to like reverse it on Makhachev. And I know that wrestling back is a big thing. And he even tried to sort of like hop over the top of Makhachev. And I'm thinking, fuck. Yeah. Just this, you got to, the fucking canvas is lava. You know what I mean? Like, get away from this situation. You know, it is. It's the floor is lava, but on the canvas, like, you've just got to get away from this. This is the worst thing. Get away from this at all costs. Take the center. Now Makhachev's against the cage. You can see the shots coming a lot easier from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And when he did that wizard and went over the top, I think it would have been fine if the cage wasn't there, but Islam was able to stuff him because people do it all the time. You can go over the top, like Mika Galvoa does it. He'll go over the top and go to an arm bar because he has space to be able to move and create some space to be able to start attacking that arm, because essentially when JDM did that and he went over the top, he's basically attaching himself to Islam's arm, but Islam was able to push him against the cage, stuff him, and then basically shake him off and come out on top. So he kind of put himself in that position. So I don't think it should have been considered a takedown. And somebody in the fucking, whoever the UFC is, like, oh, that's a takedown. A takedown is when you take somebody down, you control them for at least 3 to 4 or 5 seconds. Like when Merab picks somebody up and slams them, it's not a takedown. So I agree with you. He did stuff that. But I just think Islam was just too damn good. And I think the reason why nobody else was able to do it like Islam is, one, Belal was standing on the feet, and he felt like he was having some success on the feet. Like I felt like Belal went into that fight against JDM in the first couple rounds thinking that he was going to shock the world and knock out JDM. Like, I truly felt that, like, when I watched it over again, I'm like, Belal's not trying to take him down. And then when Belal decided, he's like, oh, I can't strike with him, or I'm not getting the better of the exchange on the feet, I'm going to start trying to take him down against the cage, right? Yeah. And that's where JDM does his best work in defending the takedown. But then in that fight, when Belal took JDM down in the middle of the cage, in the middle of the cage, he was successful, but he didn't take out his post. And then Gilbert Burns took him down, but Jaden was able to get up. I just think it's just the grappling ability of, Islam. And I'm going to tell you, when I trained with those guys for, 2 days, they fucking spent so much time on technique, on just grappling. Like, don't let him up. Don't let him up. Don't let him up. And Islam's not, drained. He's not at 155. He's healthy, hydrated, strong, athletic, 170er at welterweight. And I just think that's what the story came down to. And I would love to see, I watched your video because I do watch your content. Ilia Topuria taking on Islam Makhachev. I like that fight. That's a great fight. Yeah. But here's the question. Is it at 155 or is it at 170?
It's unfair at 170.
I mean, I think Ilia Topuria...
Michael, I know he could win. I know he could. But I think there's you kind of owe it to competitiveness. To 155 this. I know that Ilia gets the third opportunity at belt, but at no fucking point in UFC history should Ilia Topuria and Michael Morales be in the same weight class. That is something that I don't want to see that listed. Like at one point, Ilia was at 170 and Michael Morales is a 170 pounder. Like he just isn't a 170 pounder. Like that is the case. He can be a featherweight that moves up to lightweight. But I think at 170, the difference would be too much. With Makhachev, it's not limbs. It's not height.
Yeah.
He's not the tallest guy at welterweight. He's not going to have the longest reach at welterweight, the frame like this. It's the back. When he's on top, you can see his back and his torso. It's like, yeah, you're not getting up from this.
Yeah.
This is a different type of grappling that you got to watch out for. Maybe Ilia could... Listen, doubting Ilia has become like a loser's profession. Like that's just that's not the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't doubt Ilia Topuria because he'll make it happen. And maybe he'll get in Makhachev's head a little bit as well. JDM was kind of just sort of staying calm in the build-up. And, someone will ask him a long-winded question and he'll go, yeah, we'll see. And that's it. That's what we get by JDM. There's no way that's going to sort of get under Makhachev's skin in any way. But Ilia could poke the bear a little bit. He could poke things and pick on things and go this way and get his MMA guru on with rattling Makhachev and his fan base and try and get under his skin a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like Ilia is going to have the best chance. 155. That's where I think it's a dice roll. And I think it's almost worse for Makhachev, though, so I don't see him doing it. I see him wanting Ilia up at 155.
Yeah.
At 170, sorry. Because why would you want to go back down? That's the worst. Going up, then going back down is one of the worst things to do because it's almost like your body's like, thank God.
Yep.
And again? It's like, not this again? Fuck. And it's like that. You almost get like a PTSD from the weight cut. Like, I forgot how terrible this was because now I know the grass is greener at the higher division,
Yep. And typically when you see somebody do that, right, go back down, it's because they don't have success at the higher division. Right? Like Ilia he was at 145. He goes to 155. He goes, wow, that weight cut, there was no weight cut. It was easy. And I was successful. Were you seeing guys like, oh, you know what? I'm not having success at 155. I'm going down 145. They end up losing at 145. They lose at 155. They have no place to go. Where I think, for Islam, and I remember talking to Max Holloway off camera. I was like, you going back to 145? He goes, absolutely not, dude. When I blew up to 155, I actually put legit muscle on. Like, I feel great. I feel strong here. And he had success when he beat Dustin Poirier at 155. So I think if the fight does happen, I think it's going to happen at 170. And it'll be interesting to see how Ilia Topuria addresses it because he's going to fight every tooth and nail not to get taken down. Right? Or he might even try to take down Islam Makhachev. I don't foresee that happen. I think he has the skill set to it, but he's going to look to put his hands on him to be able to put him to sleep, as the fight goes on. But I think that fight is the one that should, because who is, obviously there's a long list of athletes that, Islam could fight at 170, but I think it's going to go, I just don't see anybody else fight. I just see Islam like waiting for Ilia. That's what I see. I think Ilia, they're talking already. The rumors out there are saying that Ilia is going to be fighting Paddy Pimblett in January, February, which I think is going to be a banger fucking fight. But I just like that dynamic. Or shit, even Paddy Pimblett fighting Islam, even though that's kind of far-fetched, but I like that fight too.
That's the real danger. That's the real dark horse here, dude. All these guys think they're tough till Paddy Pimblett rolls up and gets his move on, dude. If anyone can be helped by not having to follow a diet on fight week, it's going to be Pimblett showing up with 3 chins at welterweight against Makhachev, ready to take him out. But I do want to say Ilia Topuria at welterweight is interesting because he's almost so small, it's awkward. It'd be awkward for Makhachev, right? Because he's not going to be able to shoot double legs the way he was against JDM, against someone that short. It's not like Ilia walks in with his stance switch. He's very rooted and low and almost stationary in moments, gets his jab going first. But I think Makhachev's going to have to wrestle tall against him. He's going to have to get double underhooks, go for an outside trip, that type of wrestling. And by doing that, you're shooting with your chin on the level of KO tier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if he shoots in, he can get uppercutted by Ilia Topuria. But if he's tall and he shoots in to try and get double unders or get the clinch, he's in hands away from face right in front of Ilia Topuria, stood upright range, which is where he gets chinned if it's going to happen. But I would say Makhachev wins at 170, man. I don't see Ilia beating him at 170. It's a genius move from Makhachev to, I don't want to fight smaller. I don't want to fight nothing but 45ers at 55. But 45 or at 170, count me in. That's a genius move. I fell for it. It's a smart career plan.
Yeah.
I thought, he doesn't want to fight 45ers at 55 because he says the fans are just going to say he fought a bunch of 45ers and 55. And everyone was saying, this is Cope, he's ducking. And this is how you know I was backing him, as I was backing Makhachev, saying he's not ducking. I would say that he's only fought 45ers at 55. I know what he's talking about,
Yeah.
There would be that response as like, you just fought Volk twice and Ilia. But now you take a 45er to 170. I don't think Ilia wins. I want to see Ilia fight in between, though. I don't want to see him wait until the Makhachev fight happens. I'd love to see, and you said Pimblett. I say no. I say no to Pimblett. Even as an English guy, I say no to Pimblett getting a title shot at this point. If it would have happened quick, like if Ilia would have knocked out Oliveira and Arman still hadn't booked a fight and they would have booked this last month or the month before, and it would have happened by now, be a different situation. But we've waited now. And even then, I might have a problem with it. But we've waited, and then Arman's fighting this weekend against Dan Hooker. And he is the rightful top contender that just hadn't fought in 17 months because he was sitting there not doing anything. But if he beats Dan Hooker in dominant fashion, gets on the mic in Qatar, calls out Ilia Topuria on the mic, that's getting loads of views. That's getting loads of interactions. And I think Ilia should defend against Arman in February. And then Makhachev Topuria at the White House in June, while we have a bunch of skirmishes going on in the welterweight division. And maybe we can talk about the rest of the welterweight division, because that was the spotlight. Do you want to go Shevchenko Zhang next?
Let's go Shevchenko Zhang. But I think the close out Islam and JDM, I thought it was a great fight. Islam was able to do his thing, and not the best barn burner, but I think when it comes to technique, technicality, how he was able to manhandle a bigger man, it was flawless. But when he talks about the Shevchenko and Weili, okay, I wasn't very hyped about this fight. Okay, I wasn't. Yeah, double standards.
Now, DJ, you're going to hear where I'm coming from here. It was the same fucking fight, okay? It was the same fight. Couple kicks at range. We get a takedown. 3.5 minutes of nothing but control in half guard.
Okay, so here's the reason why I was a little, like, I could say pissed off. Not pissed off, but just not as excited about this fight. I think Shevchenko, when she first jumped on the scene, she was so great on the feet. Like, she was smart. She was she was doing wrist, knocking out Jessica I, just doing banger fights. And then she comes out there, she starts throwing people. Then she starts passing guard. And then she starts armbarring people. I'm like, oh my God, like, you're evolving. Like, you're continuing to evolve over and over and over again as a champion. So I'm like, man, high praise. Then when she fought Alexa Grasso, I was okay, that was a great fight. She kind of does that same stance. And, I think the first fight, she lost. She made that
rear naked.
Yep, rear naked choke. And then the second fight they fought, it was almost the same thing. It went to a draw.
Majority decision.
Yeah,
I think it was a majority decision.
No, it was a draw. The second
Or was it a draw?
Yeah, second one was a draw. And then
it was a robbery draw. They gave Grasso a 10-8 in round 5 or something, right? Even though it was not a fucking 10-8 round in any way.
Yeah, something like that. And
there was controversy around the decision, so they ran it back.
Yeah, and then they run it back for the third time, and then she was very content of just laying down, holding her, and I was like, damn it. So I was expecting, then you look at
Don't you hate to see that, DJ? Don't you just hate it?
And then when you see Zhang Weili, what she's been able to do it, at her lower weight class, she's been able to be fast, blitzering, throwing combinations, and just knocking people out. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fucking banger. But then, Shevchenko goes out there, does a tap in, and Weili's out of the void, throwing her jab and trying to figure out how she's gonna get across it. And Shevchenko's just sitting there, just like, hi, I know where you're at. And I'm just like, fucking, oh my goodness. I was just like, guys, this is like not like, yeah. I would just was, yeah. And I think the reason why maybe I might be, I don't want to say biased or, even though it's the same thing for Islam and JDM and Shevchenko and Valentina, is like, I feel that it's very hard for another man to hold another man down. It's very hard to do that. I think when it comes to size, I just think Shevchenko was just bigger than her, truly, where it's like, I'm just going to hold you down. You can't get up. Like, she had no answer to get up. And it wasn't like, Shevchenko would get to, side control. She would get to crucifix. She'll start doing elbows, but not once did she ever go like knee on belly, start punching, go around the back, transition to something else. It was very like, I feel like Shevchenko's got to a point in her career where she's able just to kind of coast. Like, I can get you.
I hear that argument.
Yeah, right.
I hear that argument.
I think
it'd be like if Makhachev was the 170 pounder and JDM was the 155er, and Makhachev did that to him. It'd be like,
yeah,
it's not as impressive.
Yeah,
1,000%. Like it's more expected.
Yeah, and I just felt Zhang Weili did not have an answer how to deal with getting to Shevchenko. Like, she never dropped down for a double leg. Right? Like, if you look at, like, I feel sometimes when people game plan against people, they didn't look at their past fights. Maybe I could be wrong. But if you look at when Valentina fought Alexa Grasso just basically just low 1, 2, 2, 1 to get across and then shoot a double leg, right? And I just felt it was like bad game planning, just bad execution of whatever they had in mind how to beat Shevchenko, and that's where
it was no game planning.
Yeah, that's what
if
it
I
felt
can
like.
Jump in on this one. Yeah, it was no game planning. I feel like that might be maybe a women's MMA thing with the coaches is like they're not as. You rarely hear of a world-renowned women's MMA coach. They're probably out there with like Nunes at ATT and stuff like that. There's definitely some big names out there. But there's no like one coach that has a ton of female fighters. Like, it's normally just this one talent that they have, they take to the top. And I think in the corner, people were criticizing that in the corner. Like, where's the advice?
Yeah.
Where's the actual technical advice to get out of this position? So I just wanted to jump in with that because that is a talking point of the internet. Is like they were here in the corner work and thinking, what's the point of this? Like, that nothing's being said here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had John Wood, which is, I believe that's Merab's coach, great coach. He's telling her something. Then you have someone on this side who's speaking in her language, saying something. So I think that's a great point. I felt like nobody was on the same page going into round 2, round 3, round 4. It was almost a repeat, and like Shevchenko's so good, she doesn't have to do anything else to get by with a W. Where I almost feel like I love the beginning of her career. Like, when I look at her end of her career now, it's like, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch her when it's almost like I would say the same thing. Well, I can't say the same thing because I felt like in my career, I just kept on getting better. Right? Like, I fought Rodtang. We're fucking banging it out. I choke him out. Fight, Adrian Moraes second time, throwing fucking flying knee, right? I guess I have high expectations for Valentina Shevchenko, and I've always said that, where I almost kind of felt let down. Almost how you felt with JDM. Like, you're like, come on, JDM, he's going to get in there and take it to him. Yeah. And then you're like, fuck! That's how I kind of felt with Shevchenko. It's like, I want more. I expect more from her. Like, she's on the brink of greatness, where I'm like, you're just getting the greatness by just by you're beating up little girls. All right, yeah, I guess so. So I guess I am biased. You can say it, but yeah, I just felt that fight was nah.
Yeah. It wasn't as, I know what you mean. It's the shift. This is the thing, though. With Chimaev, I know, now listen, the hypocrisy is glaring here with DJ, guys. But I know what you're saying is that Shevchenko has been doing this.
Yeah.
And Makhachev, it's like he could get a submission out of nowhere because he's done it in his last few fights. You know?
Yep.
So it's almost like that. When you're watching Makhachev JDM, you're thinking, any moment, is this?
Yep.
Oh, there's that to it. But with Shevchenko, it's like, she's going to do this fucking shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where she does this again, she's been doing it. And my thing about the Zhang versus Shevchenko fight, I went with Zhang because, again, I was like,
I did too.
Shevchenko, like Grasso was a strawweight. A lot of the fighters Shevchenko's been taking on, Rose has had success in the division. And I was thinking, okay, a lot like Grasso was a reject strawweight. She was a strawweight that couldn't make it to the top based on her technical skill. But at flyweight, she went on to give Shevchenko a ton of trouble. What's a strawweight who actually is the best by far gonna do when she moves up? She'll probably give Shevchenko a lot more trouble, and that might be enough for her to win. But it just, you're right about Zhang. There was no game plan. It was stay at range, bouncy, not, and then when you do cover the voyage, you just throw a big right hand in there. There was no like, let me trudge my way in because you're going to get caught coming in. You can't, it's like trying to play a bouncy sideways stance game with MVP.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent that they were going for here. It's like, you've got to push. You've got to cover the guard, go high and tight guard, get in his face, get it messy, mix it up on him. You can't play this, I'm going to go shot for shot game with Shevchenko at range until she takes me down. And that was a stinker. That really killed the momentum of the card because, I mean, I guess now Zhang can just go back down to fight Dern. And that is a fight that's very needed. Yeah. Because there's nothing else to strawweight for Dern.
Yeah.
But for Shevchenko, I mean, she's up there. You know, I forget she was a bantamweight. You know, that she was a bantamweight fighting Nunes, arguably won the second Nunes fight. And now she's at flyweight. So there is that almost 2 weight class difference between them in women's MMA, even though she was a smaller bantamweight. But I know what you mean. She was destroying Aya. She was destroying Priscilla Cachoeira brutally. That was like one of the worst stoppages ever, right? Where she just kept beating her up and all of this. But I think that was also just lesser comp where she could just, oh, this is easy. I'll just finish him, you know?
Yeah.
Where nowadays they're good enough, but they're just not good enough to really take it to her, to really draw it out to be fun. And she will just lay in half guard. Which nobody's a fan of. And that really killed the momentum of the card, I thought. We can talk about the rest of the card.
Yeah,
because,
let's go. Let's go to the rest of the card.
Yeah, because before that, the last 50 minutes of fighting, this was fucking awesome. I know you saw all this shit. So what do we want to start with today? Let's go Brady Morales first. Maybe, do you want to go Edwards Prates first? Let's kick it back into something even more crazy. We'll go Edwards Prates first. We're messing up the orders. Then we'll go Brady Morales. And Leon Edwards, DJ, headshot dead.
Yeah.
Headshot dead. Tough. That's tough. The prophecy has been fulfilled. It's tough, man. It really is tough. Like, he was doing good. He was actually doing good. I was like, oh my God, he's going to wrestle his way to victory against Prates. He's back at like a technically great level. But there's this thing. I'll say this right now. Use Prize Picks. Well, I don't know. But if you want to live bet on something, you know when Prates is about to shut some guy's lights out, man.
Yep.
The flow that he's like Pereira. He's welterweight Poatan. The flow that he gets into when you start seeing him roll his shoulders.
Yep.
You know, and get his mojo on a little bit and he even lets out a little woo or something like that. And he starts looking at the camera. It's like once that first bit of jitters is over, I swear live betting Prates might be the best thing unless he fumbles it at the end of round 5 against Gary, because you can just see he's on and it's going to happen and you got to watch out. But, you know, he sent Edwards off his feet.
Yeah.
How crazy that is. He didn't just knock him out and Edwards goes limp and just sinks. He flew him backwards with a left hand. Like Edwards' feet came off the ground and he was, I think he was mid skip and switch step. So he was like naturally off of his feet anyway. But he got moved in the air by the force of Prates' punch. And then, he was badly knocked out, and you can speak about this as a fighter and give your take on the fight in general. But he was grinning. And that speaks to like, but you know what I mean? Not grinning. I don't mean as in like he was expressing joy. I'm not talking about it as like an emotion. I'm talking about it as like an image.
Yeah.
He was smiling on the ground and you're way out of it if that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not just like, oh, cool it off. Like, that's not the way this was. I feel like that, isn't that like a electrical impulse thing where you grit your teeth? So why guys bite their tongue when they get knocked out, you know what I mean? When on their gum shield, they grit down their teeth. That's a proper bad shock through your body type knockout. What did you reckon about that destructive KO?
Out of nowhere, you know, like you said, he does get that his hands get loose, shoulders roll, and then he starts seeing what's going on. And I was just mind blown that Leon Edwards didn't come out the second round and did what he did the first round. Because the first round, he was looking sharp. You know, Leon Edwards, he doesn't do well when he goes backwards, right? When he fought Bilal Muhammad, when he fought Sean Brady, those guys were able to put him on his back foot, like have him going backwards. Always, you know, always worried about the takedown, right?
Yeah.
And when Leon came out, he was looking sharp. I was like, oh shit, like I think those last two ass kickings he got kind of woke him up. And he was throwing some great strikes, throwing the inside. I felt like Carlos Prates was having a hard time getting into his flow, that mojo state. And you see Leon take him down, get it back, body triangle, take him down, get to, you know, he was out wrestling him. I was like, dude, there's your path to victory right there. And I was like, I like this version of Leon. I think he's got something, you know, to prove. Second round comes out. And I was reading the chat and people said, dude, how come southpaws can't see the left hand coming? And typically when you have a southpaw, 9 out of 10 times the person they're going to fight or the person they're going to train with in the gym is going to be an orthodox. It's very rare. Like I think out of my whole entire career, I think I probably trained with maybe 2 southpaws. Like legit, like I'm a southpaw. Like I don't go back and forth. I stay southpaw. So it's a very, very rare person to have or to train with. So, but if you're a southpaw, you're going to train with predominantly more orthodox, and you're probably going to fight more orthodox opponents. So when you had that mirror match, obviously they probably trained for it in the camp, but you're still not getting that same mirror or that same look all the time, right? I got a look of orthodox people probably 95% of my career. So I'm more efficient at fighting orthodox people. Then you have the 5% where you're like, oh man, this is okay. I trained this camp for this, but sometimes you don't see everything. Then that left hand lands, sends homeboy going flying. Like you said, headshot dead. I'll tell you what, Guru, MMA is a very vicious cycle sport. But let's talk about how vicious it is. You have Kamaru Usman. I believe that's your head banner on your YouTube channel of him looking up at the sky.
Change it. It's gonna be Edwards. It's gonna be Edwards' smile, like that.
You have Kamaru Usman who gets put out, right? Leon Edwards goes on this victory. Oh, he's the greatest. You know, he snaps out of it. True Rocky story. Then he has a downfall, and then he suffers 2 losses, and then boom. Now he's looking at the lights, grinning, smiling.
And Usman's in the crowd.
It's not if, it's when. It's when, right? Obviously, people get out a little bit too soon. Don't do a lot in the sport, but it's when. It's not if it's gonna happen. It's going to happen if you stay in the sport long enough. And I think Leon Edwards just got caught. You know, Prates is just a big, scary 170er. Like he's long. He's not scared to fight. He smokes cigarettes, so his lungs are on a different level. His lungs are always fighting. You know, even when he's not fighting, his lungs are fighting because he's smoking, you know, the cancer stick. And I think he just has a leg up. Even Islam said it. Islam's like, how this guy smoke cigarettes and be a champion like that? I don't make sense.
Yeah.
He's just a different breed. And I think that Ian Gary got out. Like, I think Ian Gary approached the fight smart, stifled him, and I think if Prates would have got to that flow and that mojo a lot earlier in that Ian Gary fight, I think we would be talking about, you know, Carlos Prates in title contention. Because even though he beat, Leon Edwards and he, knocked out Jeff Neal with the spinning back elbow, I think he needs to fight somebody who's going to have that technical caliber where it's like, okay, like a back and forth fight where he can grit through and show.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Edwards' first round was great. I was worried for I picked Prates. I think I picked him round 2 KO. So I was pretty happy with that one. Didn't get the main and co-main correct, but I was good with that one. Because I thought it would take a bit to get a flow. Edwards is cautious. He's patient, but he came out aggressive.
Yep.
And he put it on Prates early because he thought, okay, he's not going to get me in minute 1. I'll get on him first. But he did fail some takedowns. Prates did drag his leg out of a takedown. So it's not like Edwards just abandoned the grappling game plan. He just thought, he's more ready for these takedowns now. I'm going to have to get respect first. I'm going to have to land something, and then I can go for it. But it's like when you play that game of, I got to get a big shot off on Prates, he's going to get a big shot off on you.
Yeah.
And Edwards was landing. He landed a big hook. He was turning over those wide hooks, over the top, looping hooks. Like he was adjusting his hook to like land on the taller guy of Prates. He landed a good one, but Prates would just smirk it off. But when Prates hit Leon, it was, and he's on the back foot, and the game, no longer is he thinking about shooting in and getting this, and no longer is he thinking about anything. That's what I think Ian Gary did well, is that he was in, out, side to side, side to side, in, out, out. And that's what it was. Whereas Edwards is, okay, I'm moving forward now. Okay, I'm moving backwards now for the next 2 minutes. So it's like something that Prates can get used to. Mm-hmm. You can't allow Prates to get used to shit in a fight. You can't, because that's when the swagger kicks in. Mm-hmm. That's when the big left hand comes through. Yeah.
He's almost... He's almost like, man, you ain't shit. It's like it reminds me of Cisco Rivera versus John Lineker. John Lineker was like, his coach, I was talking to his coach about it. John Lineker was like, the coach was like, why don't you take him down? You don't need to exchange with him. He hits hard too. And he goes, think about it. After the first round, they're banging back and forth. He comes back to the corner after the first round. He goes, I told you to wrestle. He goes, he doesn't hit hard, dude. He doesn't hit hard. I'm going to knock him out. Goes back on the second round, just starts having a fucking, a back and forth war, and he ends up knocking him out. He goes, he didn't hit hard. I kind of felt like that's what happened with Carlos Prates and Leon Edwards. Like, he doesn't hit hard. He doesn't, I can knock him out. And then he ended up doing it. And like you said, once he gets used to you and he gets that swagger going, it's pretty much, they should do that live betting where it's like, oh, he hit that swagger.
Yep. UFC betting scandal just kicked in for Carlos Prates. Irregular betting patterns. $6 million came in on Carlos Prates in round 2. Like, we've never seen anything like this, but it's because people know. They know what to watch out for now. This ain't no Bulgarian Del Val type shit. Maybe we can talk about that later on in the pod. I'm sure we will get into it a tad. But yeah, that's what it was. It was the pouring. I like the way he touches the lead. He like paws at the guard. He keeps people's guard up and then bang, snaps them right through it. He even landed that step-in knee to the body was good on Leon in this fight because he saw him with a high and tight guard. He landed a good couple hooks before as well. They were going kind of low. Edwards was winning the low kick battle early, and he is good at that. I said this, and maybe I said this about Edwards. Next for Edwards, I think, is Masvidal if he wants something smart to get him back on track. I'll mention that. But when Edwards lost to Bilal, there might be a clip of it. I said he'll never win a fight again. And I don't know why I said that, because I'd picked him to win. I was going nuts when he beat Usman. I picked him to beat Usman twice. Like, I think he's going to win. Watch out for the head kick. And then the second fight, I said he's going to win 48-47 decision. So I believed in Edwards a lot. But I just think he's one of those fighters where there's a level of comfort that he fights at that can only be had by a guy on a winning streak. Yeah. When there is the thought of, if I lose this one, I'm losing everything. If I lose this one, I'm losing this, and I'm never going to be in title contention again. And now if he loses this one, who knows if they'll keep me around? It's like you can't fight with that level of cerebralness that he has. If there's the pressure of, I'm being fed to a dog, I'm being fed to the up-and-comer, I'm on a losing streak, I need this. Whereas Edwards, before, it was kind of like I bet Edwards was thinking about his fucking, what he was going to have for dinner later after some of those fights. Like, even against Covington. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what mum's cooking.
Yeah.
I wonder what mum's cooking at home. I wonder what mum's up to at home as he's just low kicking Covington and moving. Like, it's so nonchalant of him. But in these moments, it's like you can't have that level of cerebralness when you're on that downward spiral. There's more of a desperation in your approach, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. Like, if the producer could correct me wrong, but this is he's lost 3 fights in a row, right? Like, it's
3 fights in a row.
Yeah, 3 fights in a row. Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady submits him, then he gets knocked out. And that's like, I always view this, like when I was in my career, like I feel like to start etching yourself up in that GOAT status and pound for pound, you got to beat people. Like, you got to decision somebody, you got to submit them, and you got to knock them out, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it the other way. You don't want to get beat by decision. You don't want to get knocked out, and you don't want to get submitted, right? And then he's had all that done in his last 3 fights, right? It's decision, submitted, knocked out. And it's like, what? Like, when I start, everybody always says this. Oh, DJ always says that person should retire. Oh, that person should retire. Oh, I think of this as like a business, right? Like, are you in the business of losing, or are you in the business of winning? I like to be in the business of winning, right? So when you go on a 3-fight losing streak and you lost all 3 ways possible besides DQ or disqualification or injury, you got to start thinking about, like, what do I need to do next? It's not like Leon Edwards is young, right? He's got to be in his 30s. He's got to be in his mid-30s, 35, 36, 37.
34.
35. Okay, 35. It's not going to get any, maybe could get easier, but as you age, you don't recover the same. You're not as fast. I love how, like, you just, like, MMA is just a vicious sport. Here's a guy we're always talking about. It's like, it reminds me of Renan Barão. When Renan Barão was on top, everyone's like, oh, he's the scariest guy, da-da-da-da-da. TJ comes, claps his ass, and he was never the same, right? And I feel like we might be seeing this again with Leon Edwards. Like, I don't know what he does next. Does he fight Jorge Masvidal? Jorge Masvidal, I think he's more into boxing. I don't know if Jorge Masvidal is looking to get back into mixed martial arts, but
Masvidal was at a Q&A press conference saying that's the fight he wants. He's willing to come back to the UFC. He hears they're going to Miami next year on Paramount. So that's what I'm thinking. When I hear that and then I see Leon lose like this, if Leon wins, I'm not thinking put him against Masvidal. I'm thinking put him against Morales. You know what I mean? I'm thinking put him against Rakhmonov. He's back in the mix. But with this loss, you got to treat it smart. Yeah, Masvidal said he wants to fight at the White House. So just Edwards, Masvidal, the beef they had. Remember when Masvidal sucker punched him? That old story. We can bring it back. If I'm Edwards, I'm thinking, don't give me the next dog. Don't give me Gabriel Bonfirm. Don't give me the next up-and-comer. Just not someone while I'm on a 3-fight losing streak. Please don't give me someone that's on a 7-fight undefeated finish streak and has won all their fights and they're full of confidence. Give me unretired Masvidal for a fun one, get me back in momentum, and then he can start looking towards those top names.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tough, man, because it's not just been that he's lost. You're right. You got really dominated by Brady and submitted, and then really badly flatline KO'd. So he's going to need some time. 6 months brings us right to the White House.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Edwards versus Masvidal, American versus England.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of works theme-wise. That ticks the boxes of the White House card. I
like that. I like that.
Civil War shit.
Speaking of Sean Brady, let's go ahead and go to Sean Brady versus Morales. How the hell? I feel like when I watched that, I was like, this can't be the same weight class because Sean Brady. I feel like he's a tweener. Like he's not a big 170, and he can't make 155. Right? Like when you look at Morales, like he is a specimen. He's massive. He's big. He's undefeated. I feel like we're looking at, I could be wrong, but when I watched it last night, I felt like we were looking at a welterweight Francis Ngannou, right? Yeah. Just big, looping punches, like coming over the top, like he's trying to hit a mouse, like, not a, like straight down the pipe. And each time he connected with Brady would just go get wobbly, stand super low. He knew Brady wanted that takedown, not really light on his feet, moving like Bruce Lee. But fuck. What a big boy.
Clubbed him up. Clubbed him up. That's clubbing. That's what it is, isn't it? It's clubbing shots.
Yes.
It's not just a perfect punch right on the tip of the jaw. Like, no, he's clubbing to like behind the ear. He's catching the top of the head with like the palm of his hand almost, like the thumb and the side of the fist is clattering into like the neck of Brady. And on the uppercut, I think he caught Brady in the neck at one point, and he finished him with like a good combination finish. But my thing is with Brady in this fight, and Morales got a nasty TKO win, and he's been surging, he's undefeated, had some great wins, and it was a good performance. It wasn't like there was some times when he was swinging where I was like, oof, we're getting away with shit because of the size.
Yep.
That if you were smaller, this wouldn't be the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
there
100%.
was some
clubbing shots that he was whiffing, and I was like, yuck, clean this up and you can get a good finish here. And then he did. But and maybe that's him being young. He's 25. Morales is 25.
Young.
So that might be him being young. By the time he's 30, we could see a proper technical Morales at the welterweight division, and that's something these guys don't want to fucking run into. But Brady, you got to learn from Makhachev and Chimaev. As much as I don't want you to learn from them, because I don't want to see more. I don't want to see more of that shit. You have to learn from them. If you're a wrestler and your approach is to wrestle in MMA, don't wait till you're wobbled to shoot a takedown.
Yep.
Don't feel it out until you get stung and wobbled, and then all of a sudden it's time to shoot a takedown. I know Morales had a wide stance, but we got to get in on that. We got to get in on that quick before they're able to settle in and realize this wrestler wants to feel it out on the feet. Bang, bang, bang. Like if Makhachev never went for anything, like he was way out of range, low kicking. He wasn't there. And the size difference wasn't the same. I get it as well. But Chimaev ain't going to be lingering around with Poatan if he ever fights him on the outside, just testing it out, first of all.
No.
That's not happening. If Poatan walks at him like he did Ankalaev, Chimaev's in on the hips immediately. Doesn't matter if it's a perfect takedown or not. The shot of a takedown, getting to the hips is not the final mission. When you're shooting in and you're getting to the hips, that's step one. Even if it's not an ideal shot, you're on them.
Yep.
You can transition it to something. You can go to the body lock and get around the back of them and try and drag from there. That's what you got to do against these taller guys. Shoot on a single leg, move them around a little bit, manipulate them, drag them around, change directions on them, sweep out the rear leg. I feel like Brady didn't want the takedown unless it was perfect because he knew Morales was dangerous. Oh, you're frozen. Okay. Oh, you're back though.
I've been listening the whole time. I'm not frozen.
For a second, you actually were.
I'm mesmerized by all your. I'm taking everything in about Morales and Sean Brady, and I was gonna say you're right because once you get in, you cross that void. You should first. You get to take you initiate that shot, right? Like you were just saying, you initiate the shot. You have to chain wrestle. You get on the hips, you run the pipe, you run on a single leg, then you run the bars or guard. I'm here with you, Guru. I'm not frozen. I'm letting you cook.
You were frozen. No. You were frozen for a second because your face was like this. I was like, it wasn't just on my screen at least. I don't know if it will look that way, but you were like this.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, God, am I really messing this up with my take here?
No.
I don't know. But either way. But yeah, the takedowns, the getting on the hips is step one. For Chimaev, look at the Li Jingliang fight. It wasn't an ideal shot. Yep. Li Jingliang shucked off the first shot, but then from there, he got the back. He hoists him up. He's talking to the so-and-so. You don't care. You got to get on the hips early. Don't wait until Leon Edwards it. He ran straight across the cage and took down Leon Edwards. Right?
Yeah, he did.
Got straight on him, got straight to work. And you say Brady's small for welterweight, which is crazy to me because he's bigger than Gastelum, who can't make middleweight.
Well, okay.
I know it's a different thing with Kelvin, but
when you look at, Gastelum, he's always had a weight problem. He's short, but he likes to carry a lot of his weight in his midsection. I told him that there's no reason why he should be missing, weight at 170. I just feel Sean, like when you got the two matched up against each other, I felt like Sean was just physically outmatched, just a big dude in Morales. And Morales throws so much power in the clubbing shots, like you mentioned, that I think that Brady can get there. But I agree with you. If he could have chain wrestled, like I never forget when Conor and Khabib fought, he moved outside the beginning. He shot in, got the double leg. He got the leg, and then they ensued in a wrestling battle. Conor tried to, do a switch, and then eventually Khabib ended on top. So I think if Sean Brady would approach the fight that way, just jump on a single leg, and now you're past the clubbing. Now you're inside. You can start working, doing different chain wrestling, and get him on his back. Because I haven't seen Morales in trouble. Each time I see him in a fight, each time I see his highlights, it's always him clubbing somebody and knocking them out. But with that saying, congrats on Morales. When you look at that welterweight division now, I feel like welterweight is starting to become a landscape of like 155 back when it was 155 and 145, where I feel like right now welterweight is like the premier, like toughest division in mixed martial arts right now. Like you have Prates, Ian Gary, you have Shavkat. Yeah, Shavkat hasn't been fought and he's still injured.
Morales, we just spoke about.
Morales, I mean, Islam now. JDM's still there.
Just a second ago. Yeah, just a second ago. He was the up and coming new guy on the block, You
still got Bilal Muhammad. You got 170 is like, and they're talking afterwards that they want to give Kamaru Usman the title shot potentially next against Islam. The producer brought it up earlier today. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel Usman is a legend, right? I think I don't want to see Usman versus. If Usman beats Morales, I think he earns it. That's
if Usman wins any fight, he's got it. That's the thing.
No,
it's like he's got one against Buckley, but in my opinion, Buckley is he's the top 10 guy. He's not the name that gets you a title shot. And then you've got to consider, even though the Chimaev fight was close, his losses to Edwards do have to affect him with Edwards' current downfall as well. Like you do get dragged, right? Yeah. You get dragged a bit. Like, oh, that's the guy who you lost to, and we've seen him do nothing but lose since. That's not good marketing for a title shot. And then on paper, to get my Anthony Smith on here, on paper, Usman's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. 1 win, 3 losses. Makhachev is at a point now where you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that fight. In my opinion, you mentioned, Pimlet getting a shot. That's why I don't want to see it. Even though Pimlet's coming off wins, you can't do that with Ilya right now. It's gimmicky. It's like, okay, they're big names and it sounds good to the casual fan base, but there's an order to be respected here. You got these welterweights at the moment. I think the next for Makhachev is Ilya. If Ilya wins a fight in January and then they fight at the White House, that is what's good because it gives time for welterweight right now. I made a video earlier, yesterday by the time this comes out, where I do every fight to make next. And my matchups were, let me know if you think I'm cooking with these.
Okay, good.
I want Islam Makhachev, Ilya Topuria.
Love it.
I want Jack Della Maddalena versus Sean Brady.
Ooh, I like that.
So he can prove himself in the grappling. I need to see it because that was too much of a loss. So I think that'll be fair. They're both coming off losses as well. Similar time. Both going to have similar time off. Then for the rest of the guys, I want Morales versus Rakhmonov.
Okay, I like
both
that.
Undefeated, both tall, big for the division, similar dangers for each other to encounter. I think that'd be something new for Morales to fight someone his frame and size. And Rakhmonov, he gets back in there, undefeated on undefeated. That could fight night main event out in the Middle East easily. Then Usman versus Prates. That's the fucking matchup.
Why you gotta do that to Usman?
No, I don't think he's got a chance. with Edwards' grappling early, you don't think Usman could do a Buckley on him, mix in the grappling a bit better than Edwards did?
He could. Yeah, he could. I just don't want to, but I also know what could happen if he couldn't. And that's what I'm worried about. Yeah. That I don't want, when you get these guys who are a little bit older, and this is just me caring, right? If I didn't care, then I was like, oh yeah, do it. But I just cared that he can get hurt pretty bad there, I mean, he could do what he did to Buckley, but I also felt Buckley was still very, very young in his career. He's never felt that, where I think Carlos Prates has felt that before. He's felt that stifleness before. You know what I mean? I think Ian Gary
losses,
Yeah, I think Ian Gary gave him that, and he's felt that. He goes, okay, I can't allow somebody to do that to me. He fights Neil. Waga! Sends him to the canvas. fights, Leon Edwards almost did it to him. He's like, I felt this before, ain't gonna fucking happen. Got to that flow, knocked him out. I think he could potentially do the same thing to Kamaru Usman, even though Kamaru Usman is a different tier of skill set than Buckley and Leon Edwards and Neal. Not that Buckley and Carlos Prates has fought, but I just feel that I think if they do that matchup, they got to be prepared for what's to come if Usman's not able to get that same type of technical, skill set, not skill set, but game plan he did against Buckley. That's all. But that's some good cooking. You cooking good stuff over there, my friend.
But it could also be, that's the 4 that I think. So
what about
I think JDM Brady is the matchup. I said Shavkat versus Morales.
Okay,
right?
okay. No, you said...
So Shavkat Morales, Prates Usman.
Okay, you said his first name. Sorry, I don't know by his first name.
Okay, yeah. Rakhmonov versus Morales.
There you go.
And Usman versus Prates. But that could, because they're all winners.
Mm-hmm.
They're all at the top, and that way you ensure that the person who gets a title shot's on a win streak.
Yeah.
You don't want to do JDM versus one of them, because if JDM wins, he's on a 1-fight win streak.
Yes.
Or if Brady wins against one of them, he's on a 1-fight win streak. And there's no entertainment. There's no hype for his title shot, and that kind of kills the division a bit. So I think that's what it should be. I've always wanted to see Belal versus Usman. So if Belal beats Ian Gary...
That needs to happen. Fuck all this, Kamaru Usman and Belal Muhammad. I know Kamaru Usman said, he's above him. Why am I looking behind me? But sometimes it's not bad to look behind you and like settle this, this ongoing beef between each other just to get it done. I like that. I think that's a safer path to a world title shot than taking on a guy like Carlos Prates. Like, I understand. I think the Carlos Prates fight is a way more dangerous fight. I don't know. I don't remember the last time Belal Muhammad has finished somebody. I don't know if he has in the UFC.
Sean Brady in it was barely a finish.
Did he finish him? Oh.
That's the thing. That's the thing. He did finish him, but it was so uncool looking that it was like almost like he didn't. Like, he wobbled him for like 2 minutes straight.
Gotcha.
But I know what you mean. It's not like Bilal's going to run a wrestling clinic on Usman. Yeah. So it's an approachable matchup for him.
Yes.
They're going to get back and forth.
I think it's back and forth. It's a good matchup. And why not? Right? There's that beep there. They can finally drop that, that podcast where he slaps him and they fight and he's in tears. I like that. But the welterweight is starting to shape up to be a very, very intriguing division. Not that it wasn't before, but I feel like now it's starting to get to the point where it's like, man, the welterweight division is kind of like murder's row. Like, whoever you fight in the top 10, it's going to be a fucking fight.
Yeah, it is murder. See, you're speaking from a position of you care for Usman, but I'm speaking for a position of it's murderous row. Let's get the unks murdered, dude. Let's get the murders going on, dude. Let's kill him. Let's get rid of him for the stars coming up. So that's what I'm thinking about. But let me get a new YouTube banner,
Yeah.
I want a fresh one.
You should do.
I want to...
you should do one Usman, one part Edwards.
Yeah. Just the sort of duality of the sport.
Yeah, and then the fire part, just leave a question mark like, who's next? Who's the next unk that's gonna be put up there for me?
Or Prates' face when Edwards had his back.
do Leon Edwards, Prates, and then Usman right there, and then have Prates have a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, but I know what you mean though. It could be Usman versus Belal because of the beef. I wanted that in the first place. I was like, why are they giving this to Ian Gary?
Yeah,
like just the fucking producers roasting Belal in the chat over it. In his last 17 fights, Belal has 2 finishes. Just chucking in a little fun fact to rip on Belal there. Thanks for that one, man. But yeah, I think that Belal versus Ian Gary, it's going to happen. It's happening this weekend, which is good.
Yeah,
and I've got Ian. I think Ian Gary. I don't know. After what JDM did, and then seeing I think Ian can stop those takedowns as well. I used to think that was I thought that was JDM's so good to stuff Belal's takedowns, but now I think maybe you just got to have some basic takedown defense and you can stop him. And not be Wonderboy who Belal took down, and because Burns could stop him all. And I just think there's levels to the grappling, and now I more normalize JDM's win and see it as this amazing heroic feat that it was in my mind when it first happened. But yeah, I think that'd be good. If Ian Gary wins, he kind of might get the shot against Makhachev. He'd sell it annoyingly, but he would sell it.
That'd be a great fight too. I love that. That's where I feel like when you have a champion from a different division come into a different division, I think it brings like fresh matchups. Like we're seeing a fresh face in the division, right? It's almost like now that Max Holloway is at 155, we can potentially get, what I want to see Max versus Ilya, not right now, but like let's say Ilya beats Arman or Arman beats Ilya, then we get Arman versus Max. That's a great fucking fight. So I feel like with Islam being at welterweight, Islam versus Ian Gary, that sounds fucking great. I love that. That's like how would Islam deal with the long rangy striker who's light on his feet, who throws those teeps, those kicks? Obviously, he's going to try to take him down. So it's going to be the wrestler versus the striker essentially.
Yeah, but Ian Gary started in judo. He has a judo background. Yep. There's that aspect. It's not like JDM I just wanted to do it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's not his way of getting into it. He's a judo background, so he's got good hips, really good takedown defense. Known for it. Like he doesn't really get taken down at all.
Yep.
He moves a lot. He's not like I know JDM switches and moves, but it's not erratic like Ian Gary. It's harder to get onto the hips of an Ian Gary than it is a JDM. It's the range, I think, and also the talk. Ian Gary's annoying as fuck, but maybe he could annoy Makhachev.
Yeah.
Even if he was trying to, I bet he would be nice to Makhachev, and Makhachev would still be like, please, brother, make him shut up. Please, this guy. So fucking, maybe he would get under his skin just by being nice. But I think Ian Gary is like because he beat Prates.
Yeah.
He beat Prates, and the Rakhmonov fight was a while ago. And Rakhmonov hasn't fought since, so he's going to lost his step, I think. And also, Rakhmonov didn't have a top 5 win and doesn't have a top 5 win, unless it's Ian Gary who's going to enter the top 5 with a win over Bilal.
Yeah,
like he beat Rakhmonov beat Jeff Neal, he beat Wonderboy, He beat Ian Gary on the come up. He didn't fight a Bilal or an Usman or any of these matchups,
Yep.
So I just feel like they should have Rakhmonov fight one of these guys, Usman fight one of these guys, and if Ian Gary beats Bilal.
Yeah.
Ian Gary.
Yeah.
Ian Gary, dude, he beat Prates. If Prates ends up winning in the meantime, it's just going to raise Ian Gary's ranking as well.
Yep.
And that would be, even though he's kind of like a weaker alternative, that would be Khabib McGregor.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be.
Ian Gary Makhachev would be new time Khabib, new time McGregor. Ireland versus Dagestan. Paul Hughes versus Usman Nurmagomedov. That is a selling point that a lot of these promotions go to. And that would be big. I think that would be huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to keep him busy, as they do Ilya Arman and Makhachev, if Ian Gary beats Bilal and gets on the mic, you want to fight me? I'll do it in your home country if you want to. I'm going off about this. He could have a sick call out, dude.
We'll see what happens because they fight this weekend, and I like that. I like where the welterweight division is right now. I think there's a lot of matchups. And
you've got Arman over Dan Hooker this weekend as well, right?
Yeah, Arman versus Dan Hooker. I think I got Arman over Dan Hooker. I think Dan Hooker is a great fighter. I think he's had trouble in the past with the wrestlers and the submission game. And Arman has been on a fucking tear. He's been doing a lot of side quests lately since he hasn't had any matchups. So he's been doing a lot of grappling. So we know his grappling is good. He just submitted what's homeboy's name?
Benson Henderson?
Yeah, Benson Henderson just submitted him.
Forget, man.
Yeah, he's just literally been on a grappling tear. So I foresee Arman submitting him. Unless Arman gets caught with a knee up the middle from Dan Hooker or some good hands, I think Arman's going to get past him with probably flying colors with a grappling display.
Guess who's going to be in the crowd?
You?
No, I'm not going to Qatar. They'll kill me at this point. Even the real, I see my DMs. Loud and clear, guys. I'll wind it back. But either way, Ilya Topuria is going to be in the crowd.
Oh.
Because guess who's on the prelims? Alejandro Topuria is on the prelims.
Okay.
His brother.
Okay.
So he'll be there cornering at the event while Arman beats Dan Hooker, and he'll be in the crowd. That's setting up. That's setting up Arman versus Ilya and Makhachev and Gary if he beats Bilal.
I love it.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds good to me. That's how it needs to be done. Before we move on forward, we didn't talk about BSD versus
Dariush.
Yes.
So it won't be long. Won't be a long discussion.
Yeah.
It's a 16-second fight.
Yeah, great knockout. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so
Yeah. No, but for real though, yeah, literally a 16-second KO. Beneil Dariush. It's tough for Beneil, man. I know he's kind of young still, but I can't help but look at him and think, Gramps.
Yeah,
the gray hair and the bad weight cut, and then just immediately put away. It's tough for him, man. It's tough. What you got?
I was just gonna say those 3 fights, the beginning of the main card, the Dariush knockout, and then you had the Carlos Prates knockout, and then you had the Morales knockout. I was like, holy shit! Like this is setting up to be like a banger card, like banger, banger, banger. And then you got Shevchenko, and then you had JDM and Islam. But yeah, not too much about that one. I saw on my feed, everyone was like, what about the Beneil Dariush and BSD fight? I was like, guys, there's not much to, just not
You
much
want to know why no one was really talking about it?
Like,
there was a different fight going on.
Oh,
Dillon Danis. There was a better fight going. There was a better brawl going on in the crowd. Even DC was looking over his shoulder like, wait, what's going on? You know what's funny? On Twitter, I fucking called it. DC's looking over his shoulder and saying, I don't know what's going on over there in the crowd. And I went, if I didn't know any better, I'm saying this is Dillon Danis versus some Dagestanis in the crowd. And I bet you John Pork is involved as well. That's what I thought. And boom, John Pork on camera hitting Dillon Danis in the back of the head while Dillon's fucking shoes kicking up in the air behind the barrier is the funniest thing ever. I'm sorry. Is it bad that like 12 of them jumped him? Yes, that's pussy shit. Don't jump people, hit him in the back of the head just because they're annoying. I know he's annoying. Maybe I'm saying this so that they also don't jump me at some point. But
I don't
think they should be. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I don't want it to happen, man. You're a good person. I think let's go on right here. I mean, you're going to him. I know you're on live for 6 hours, and you say it was a pressure cooker, just going and going. You said some things. I was like, damn, Guru. Come on now, you a good person. You don't mean all those things. You comedian,
I mean, I think I went overboard. Like I go overboard. There's definitely some things that I go to 11 out of 10 on. That's for sure. And that was one of those moments. But 30 minutes after, I sort of came to and thought, oh my God, what have I done? I don't need to stoop to that level and take it out on people that probably are in the chat that didn't even message me that anyway. But yeah, what I want people to know is like I'm not fucking plotting this out like, and this is how I'm gonna just cause an absolute riot on things and stuff like that. I'm like, no, this is just that. Like I'm pressure cookered up at 6 a.m. I'm fucking screaming and going at it. But yeah, I don't want to get Dillon. I don't want to get Dillon Danis, guys. Is there a saving grace? Do I have to go 2-3 years Dagestan and forget everything I've said on stream ever? That might be the way. Maybe I have to redeem myself by going to Dagestan for 2-3 years and forget. That might be the way to save this and never come back.
If you go to Dagestan for 2 to 3 years, you ain't coming back right now where you're at. So I don't want you to go.
He's sending me back in pieces.
But I think for Dillon Danis, that's what it is. Like he says all these things and then he goes out in public and it's like, dude, like those guys remember. And like, if you're gonna, they are the people who would test you out in the street. It's like, hey, you said this. Okay. We're going to find out. And yeah, 12 of them jumped him. He had some good shots behind the head. John did. And,
John Pork.
Yeah, you saw Dillon Danis get arrested and then, Islam's team, they watched the fight in the back of the hotel. But that's just the thing. It's like, damn. Dillon Danis can't go nowhere without getting any hate. And I think he did it to himself, right? Like, I think it's good to go everywhere and not have to have a target on your back, right? Like, I feel like everything I say, everybody thinks I'm a John Jones hater. I'm not a John Jones hater. I like John Jones. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best. When, he has the USADA and the failed drug test, yeah, I would, even if my kids or anything like that, I'm like, dude, I'm going to question that. I have to. If I don't question that, then it's like me just sweeping under the rug. I have to question that. So, but that was a great fight between Dillon Danis and the whole Dagestan crew. And, we'll see what happens of that. Now Dillon Danis will never be at a UFC
forever.
Well, he's never getting to fucking UFC now.
Yeah, not them though. I bet you Dana was liking it. Like, we'll give you a bonus. Because I heard Dana, I was tweeting like, dude, these guys fucking jumped Dillon Danis and Danis got banned. That's fucking crazy. Like, think about like law-wise, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, Dillon could sue.
You
on
think
a
so?
real level. He could, for assault,
Oh,
at
yeah.
least.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that runs. Well, you said they're chickens on Twitter. That don't run for 12 back of the head shots from 12 different guys. But I don't think Dillon will. And I don't think he should. I think he should just, I don't know where's Dillon going to get beaten up next. It's the journey that we're on with Dillon Danis. But his red shoes kicking up from behind the barrier was the funniest thing ever, man. Because he had one of them, right? I think he had Ali Abdelaziz, if I'm not mistaken. But then Omari Akhmadov's in there. I don't know. I'm guessing random Dagestani fighters are jumping in here. And then fucking Zubaira Tukagov's in from the top rope and he jumps down on Dillon Danis and Tagir Ulanbekov's in there with a fucking knee to the head. And they're all getting there. I think Umar's in there.
I think Hasbulla was in there too. You just couldn't see him.
Yeah. Hasbulla's dead. Yeah, Hasbulla's dead under the crowd of just trampled under there. Just down there getting squeaked. And then John Pork was the star of the show. He was, do you know about this John Pork thing, DJ?
You know, it's so funny. Like, I've heard about it, and like Michael was like, dude, we're the reason why the meme would happen. I was like, what do you mean? Refresh my memory. What is that?
It's his name. No, I'm joking. It's not his name. But basically, you know, Shevchenko, that's how Makhachev pronounced. That's how his name's pronounced. That's how his name's pronounced. Do you know who John Pork is?
No, I don't know who John Pork is.
John Pork is calling, DJ. It's like a brain rot meme, but it's not like do you know, I feel like such a fucking idiot just explaining this to you. Do you know, papapim, tung 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 sahur?
I do not.
Talaleo tralala. You have kids. You don't know about all this fucking brain rot shit.
I know the game Brain Rot. They played. It's a game on Roblox, but the
no. But yeah. Anyway, John Pork is in this universe of these retarded characters, and he's a pig. He's a human pig hybrid. People actually used to. I was the original John Pork. People don't know about this. I was considered John Pork because people used to say I was a human pig hybrid and therefore I should be called John Pork. But this guy's taken my nickname away from me because when Makhachev introduced him to you, he said, this guy, so-and-so champion, shampoo.
I introduced my team. This guy, Chanko, 2 times world professional Muay Thai champion.
Oh, sorry.
And his name's Shanko or something. And he pronounced it in a way that sounded like John Pork. And that was enough for millions and millions of views of an edit of Shanko getting transferred into John Pork and his face being morphed into a human pig hybrid. And then now everyone's calling him John Pork. And they were at the press conference. There was a John Pork chant. Makhachev's on the stage. JDM's there. All these big Prates, all these superstars, they're chanting for John Pork at the press conference.
Wow.
That was the loudest chant. So that he's really captivated the retarded minds of the TikTok generation. He's John Pork, and he's everywhere. He threw a bottle at Nate Diaz once. He's like retroactively, he's been there this whole time. Nate Diaz, when he threw the bottle at Chimaev backstage, guess who threw the bottle back? There he is. It's Shanko. It's John Pork. And then you go on this moment here, and who's that punching Dillon Danis in the back of the head?
He's like,
and it's fucking John Pork. He's there again, swinging at the back of Dillon Danis. He's everywhere. I feel like if I say his name one more time, he's going to be knocking at my fucking door. I swear, it's going to be a problem. But he's big name, and they got into a scrap in the crowd, and that was pretty wild. But yeah, Dillon's red shoes kicking above the barrier. I'll make a video about that. Probably posted by now, but that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm trying to save seeing it again so I can really genuinely laugh my ass off at it. But Dillon's tough, man. Dillon's
dude. Like he goes,
he walks around like he wants it as well, almost.
Yeah, and he goes around by himself. Like I think for that amount of shit he talks about. Like I have him on a podcast, and he seems like a genuinely nice guy. But I mean, when you're walking around by yourself and you go into the enemy territory, you gotta watch your back, man. You gotta watch your back. He stuck into the fighter section.
Snuck into the fighter section. Yeah, he snuck in, and Masvidal said it's on site if I see him. But luckily, Masvidal was like 6 or 7 rows back. I said 6'7". This is another fucking TikTok brain. John Pork stuff. You know what I mean? We're covering it all in today's podcast, guys. But he was like 6'7", rose back, guys. Just stepped out on the highway. And he said it's on site if I see
Dillon
Danis. So Dillon's like can't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's good.
I want to. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It's good that they banned him from the UFC because it just, you know, you can't be having it happen all the time, especially at MSG, because eventually they might say, hey, dude, like, we can't have this event here because you can't control the crowd or you can't control the fighters or the athletes. So, but hey, that was, you know, like you said, everybody's watching that. It said the BSD fight because it was so quick.
But Benoit Saint-Denis had a good performance, man. Listen, Benoit Saint-Denis back. He's in the mix. He had the crushed losses. Moicano beat the shit out of him in their fight. I remember that one.
Yeah.
And then also the loss to Poirier, where it was just too much too soon for him. And they kind of built him. He was like number 15. They just chucked him to Poirier. People believed in him as a prospect, but he got KO'd badly in that fight as well. And then he beat Huffy. Mauricio Huffy, the fighting nerd.
Yep.
Shut him down, took the hype, and now he's done Prepelec easily before the Huffy fight even, and now he's done this, where he's easily beaten Dariush. Dariush is tricky. Dariush beats Gamrot.
Yeah.
Dariush, very, very tricky opponent for a lot of these guys. And early in the clinch, Armand Sarukian did the same thing to Dariush.
Yep.
In the clinch, shots around the side, clattered him off the side of the head. He can't see it because his arms are in the way. Boom. Gets hit with a shot you don't see coming. And that's the same thing here. He landed 2 good low kicks. Benoit slipped off balance. Benil got him in the clinch for a big knee. Smacked over the top with a left hook. Face planted. Joe Rogan calls it an early stoppage because he's dumb.
It was not early. Dariush always gets hit like that, and he always goes out like that. So as he continues to fight, it's going to go even faster when he gets clipped like that. And
he missed weight. Which is a bad thing for him as well. He never does. So that's also maybe a thing. He's getting up there, a little injury. Who knows? Maybe a concussion. I don't know what. Maybe a bad weight cut leads to something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah. But other than that, there is one fight we have. Bo Nickal's head kick flatline KO.
It looked great. It looked. I'm gonna you cook that, but I want to say something as a fighter standpoint of this. I think when he fought RDR, a lot of people wrote him off. You saw all the things on the internet, fraud check. I think we're in a day in mixed martial arts where he fought somebody who was a 2 divisional champion and 1 championship, who was gamed, who's a big dude, who could put the pressure on Bo Nickal and was able to finish Bo Nickal, and Bo Nickal didn't look that good. Bo Nickal is still learning to fight, right? Like, he's still trying to understand how to engage, how to go about it. He comes from a wrestling background. And so I saw he got the beautiful knockout head kick, gets on the ring and flips everybody off like, look, I am good. Yes, you're good. It's just, they're just trying to figure out the level of caliber of where you're at. And I think the only people we can blame for that is probably the UFC for putting you in such a position where you weren't ready for that opponent, or maybe you were, right? Because the same thing that happened to him versus RDR could happen to somebody else where he fights who has more experience in him, right? So I just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Cuckoo.
The reason why people hate Bo Nickal is because he said that he'd submit Chimaev in round 1 and Chimaev was dog shit, and that Whitaker was dog shit and he would destroy him in round 1, and DDP was dog shit and that he would destroy him in round.
Yeah.
This is why there was backlash against Bo Nickal, guys. It wasn't these guys just fucking amateur. These guys, I just fucking blitz right through him. He was saying on his podcast, these guys are freaking amateurs out there compared to me. So I think that was also a part of it. But I think Bo's been like, okay, I get it. Yeah. This game's tricky. Yeah. This game's not going to be that easy. Even Chimaev didn't have that quick of a rise. He spent time at Brave, FC. Like, both had that regional test. Ilya was at Cage Warriors and all of these different promotions where he fought some decent, talented guys on the come up. And Reina Derrida won FC, long-time reigning champ, fought Malakan twice, lost twice, unfortunately for him, but fought a bunch of good names, you know. Some really good submission Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys, world champions over there. So Reina Derrida had some experience, but this was a beatdown from Bo Nickal. I even admit it myself. Listen, this was a Jarl Master Forgot performance where listen, we're not all the way back on the thing of he's going to be a world champion. He's going to destroy these top contenders, which was somewhat the narrative before. Incorrectly, I guess. But we're at least on the thing where, like, he's still better than the majority of these guys. He's way better than the majority of them. He's just being better than the majority doesn't make you the 1%, you know?
Yep.
It makes you maybe top 20. Maybe you can get ranked. We'll see. But this is the thing. He's going to take time. I like that he wasn't discouraged by the loss. If he really wasn't all the way in on this game, that Derrida loss would have been enough to just call it quits. He's got money, you know?
Yeah.
He's established. He's a big name. So I feel like Bo Nickal was all the way in on this game. Took some time. Beating up on Rodolfo Vieira, he made it look easy. He pieced him up. I know Rodolfo's not the best, but he's better than Brundage and Val Woodburn and the other guys that Bo Nickal was beating up on. And he looked way better against him than he did against Paul Craig.
Yep. I also think it was a good step in the right direction for him to get back on track and to believe in himself. Right? Like, beautiful knockout, MSG, great showing undercard, undercard prelims. And I'm excited what he does next, right? I think I don't take anything away from Bo Nickal's loss against RDR because I knew what RDR was capable of, especially what just happened with RDR, how he fucking gave up, which RDR's done that before and won championship. So I think I would like to see him and RDR run it back again. Why not?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No time. No, not yet. We'll let this cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think RDR beating Whittaker after beating Bo Nickal was kind of good for Bo. Because I know RDR lost to Brendan Allen recently. Mm-hmm. If RDR would have just been on a losing streak since the Bo Nickal fight, then it would be like, oh, wow, Bo lost to some guy that wasn't really any way that good. But if you can beat Whittaker at middleweight, you're really good.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's not like he lost to some schmuck. But yeah, I feel like what's next for Bo is Sharam Magomedov. That's what's next for Bo Nickal. I was trying to hint at it with the one eye thing, but Sharam Magomedov.
You should have did mate. I would have got it easy. I was like the bullet. Sure. The bullet. Yeah, I like that fight. That's a great fight. That'd be a great fight. I think he'll have a hard time with the footwork. I think he'll have a hard time trying to get to him, right? Because that's, I think the only person who was able to, get to him was another person who was good on the feet, which is MVP, Michael Venom Page. So I like that fight. It's always good to be able to make some good matchups and make you question what would this person do if these two guys fought, right?
Yeah, but Barriault took a lot of damage against... Sharam Magomedov took a lot of damage against Marc-Andre Barriault, who's not the best, who I think Bo Nickal would finish. And he also isn't... He's a striker. He's not a great grappler. Like, he's been taken down a bit in fights. And I think that's good for Bo. That's like a good step. Give him time. Give him another 5 months to build.
Yep.
Let's not rush him back in there.
Yep.
But it's a situation at middleweight where if they now give him another guy no one's heard of, it'll be like, oh, they're back to protecting Bo. Like a step up, but not a crazy one. Like I think Joe Pyfer would KO him,
Yep.
I think other guys that are more tested in the middleweight rankings with, like, don't give him Cannonier right now. That might be someone too crafty to be. He'd probably finish Bo Nickal at this point. Or don't give him Baraujo or Paulo Costa. These guys are too much too soon.
I don't know. I think he'll be fine with Paulo Costa. I think he'd do well with Paulo Costa. I think he'll do fine with Paulo Costa. I think just picking the right one. Because I think Paulo Costa, athletic, big, but I think Bo Nickal can push the pace against him, put him on his butt. You see Paulo Costa get stifled a lot. You think about what Paulo Costa fought. Give him Sean Strickland. I like that matchup.
Not yet.
Why not?
You want to get Bo killed out here.
We're trying to get the unks out of here, right? So, let's get Bo Nickal.
Yeah, but Bo ain't Prates yet. Bo ain't highlight reeling like ranked guys. Prates just highlight reel the former champ. Bo ain't doing that. He's highlight reeling Rodolfo Vieira, guys. Like, this baby step. Sharam Magomedov. And then I hear you, if he beats Sharam Magomedov, then we're talking, okay, if Whittaker's coming off losses, let's do him versus...
We're talking about him going after Unk status, people, huh? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, then it's Unk clear up time, dude. Get him
out. Made that a meme. Unk clear up time, boys. Unk clear up time.
Yeah. Shift these Unks out of here, dude.
Okay,
that was good.
With all that, what you think? How would you rate that card? This one. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. Let me give you why. I think the build up to it, I felt like the start of it, the prelims were good, and then the first 3 fights, the main card was good, but I felt that the lackluster of the title fights would kind of like dulled it down to me. Technically wise, I was in it. Not the co-main, but the main event, I was in it to see Islam be able to dismantle like JDM like that. But like it wasn't like I didn't go over to one championship thinking like, oh man, that was a fucking big card. Oh man, I was sitting there as like, this is mixed martial arts. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. It's mixed martial arts.
Yep. I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a 7 as well. I think it could have been an 8 or a 9 if like let's say Makhachev or JDM got a finish and Shevchenko Zhang Weili was more fun.
Yep.
That would have been, I'm not even going to push it and ask for a finish there. But I just feel like that would have been an 8 or 9 card, and then if the prelims were a bit better.
Yep.
But did you I think overall the card was really good. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. My thing was Wellmaker Ewing was sick. I know you probably didn't. Did you see that fight on the prelims?
I saw just the highlights of it. Him taking the fight on 2 days notice. And I think from what I saw, it felt like who's the guy? Irwin? How you say his name?
Ewing. Ethan Ewing. Ethan
looked more. So there's a guy in my gym who trained with Malcolm before, and the guy I train with, he's pretty technical, and he was saying, he was like, man, Malcolm Wellmaker, he hits hard. He hits super, super hard. He goes, technically wise, like I don't think he's the best. This will come from my buddy in the gym, but he was like, he hits extremely hard. So when I was watching the highlights of how Ethan was landing a high kick and just landing clean technique on him, I was like, I think Malcolm just came up against another young technical guy and just wasn't able to get it done.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, it was close still. It's still a close fight, but this was the difference between his last fight was against Chris Matinha.
Yeah.
I think Ewing was his own prospect, and he had a fight a couple weeks ago where he knocked a guy out and had a good victory. And sure, he probably wasn't focused on getting right back in there afterwards, but he was still like, he had been training. He wasn't coming off an injury and just sitting on his ass for like months on end and then took this fight. So I also think Wellmaker had this mindset of, he was cheesing at the cameras. He was kind of doing this and dancing on his walkout. He's kind of like, another first round KO inbound. And then when that don't go to plan, everything falls apart and Ewing's on him, peppering the jab and moving like Volk out there, shifting around, finding the outside angle. And I thought that was a good showing. So I just wanted to mention that Ethan Ewing had a really fucking good performance. I thought he has a giant head though. And I thought, this guy's getting KO'd. Wellmaker likes to find chins, and this one ain't hard to find. He looks like Pops from the regular show. And I just thought, this is going to be a tough one. But Ewing showed up. And Ewing shocked everyone. Even though the odds were still close, they must have respected him. But that's it. Decent card overall, I thought. What do you think about the ONE FC?
I loved it. ONE FC was amazing. You had Christian Lee taking out, I can't say the gentleman's name. They fought a couple months ago. It went to no contest.
Ali Beg Rasulov.
Yeah, Ali Beg Rasulov. That was like a no contest. Christian Lee, the knees to ground opponent makes it a different element when it comes to fighting, right? Like you shoot, I sprawl, I get you in the head and arm, I'm raining down knees to the top of your head. He ends up finishing that guy. Then you have some banger Muay Thai fights and kickboxing. You had Super Leg take on Yuki. Holy shit, that was an amazing fight. I always love when people, they hate grappling. Just watch one championship. Mixed MMA, MMA, Muay Thai and kickboxing. There's no grappling whatsoever. So that fight was also a banger. Obviously, Rodtang, he didn't make it because, he started cramping, so he went to the hospital. Nago missed weight. You had Lovato taking on Giancarlo. That was a great back and forth. You had Ty Rotolo making his second debut. Ty Rotolo and Kate Rotolo, they're so good that their grappling ability is so much better than everybody. And the amount of grappling, the level of grappling they have gone against in jiu-jitsu, I mean, youngest ADC champion, CJI 1 winner. They won everything under the sun in gi grappling besides worlds at black belt level. So he submits his opponent in the first round. Never worried about those guys. The main event, Superbon versus Nori, back and forth. Superbon gets the win. I mean, it was a sick card. And then Yuya Wakamatsu knocks out Joshua Pasiao. But
your former opponent, right? Wakamatsu.
Yep.
Defeated him at 1 FC. He's now back on top. First title defense.
Yep. First title defense. Just came off knocking off Adriano Moraes too. So it was good, man. I think the beautiful thing I love about One Championship is that being here and watching it live is you have this. The Japanese culture loves getting behind their athletes, right? Just like everything else. So when Takeru came out there and fought and knocked out his opponent, oh my God, it was like the whole fucking arena just went erupted. And now you're gonna have Ra Tang taking on Takeru for Takeru's last fight. I'm excited about it, but I don't like that matchup for Takeru because Ra Tang, starched him in the first round. So One Championship was good, man. If you guys don't like that grappling shit, come over here, One Championship. We love to have you guys come over here and watch.
Nabil on the card got a big victory. Yuki Oza beat Superlek. I mean, Haggerty was supposed to be on this card. Stamp Fairtex ended up losing, but she was on this card.
Yep.
I mean, we spoke about this a little bit off camera. We were talking about this card, and before we started the pod, and this. Why are they doing it at the same time as UFC 322? We spoke about this, and I was saying it like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Bomb Firm Brown, Garcia versus Onama. These are weak cards that could be ignored. On paper, this card included. We didn't even mention this. This was supposed to have Rod Tang versus Nong O.
Yep.
If you know the game, you know how sick of a fight that is. Rod Tang withdraws, Nong O misses weight. And then you had Malakin versus Rug was on this card as well, originally.
Yep.
Then you had Haggerty versus Nabil was the original fight for Nabil on this card. Overall, you're looking at Nabil versus Haggerty.
Banger.
Rod Tang versus Nong O.
Banger.
Rug versus Malakin.
Banger
As well. Rotullo's on the card. Gregorian's on the card as well, right?
Oh, that fight
Gregorian was on this card.
Yeah, that fight was sick too. He was all over his fucking guy, and he ended up winning. He almost finished him, but that was also a banger card too.
Yeah. And then we had Christian Lee on there. Always fucking fun to watch. Vicious fighter. Then you had Wakamatsu with his title on the line. And then, again, Nori versus Superbon in the main event. Like, how many star-studded fights did they need on this? This was too much.
Yeah.
There's almost too many crazy fights. Like, spread them out a bit, This is almost too good. And my point is, too good to be sharing the night and being overshadowed by Makhachev laying on JDM and Shevchenko laying on Zhang.
Yeah.
This was their chance to really... Why are they doing it at the same time? PFL does the same thing. Usman Hughes, same time as the UFC pay-per-view. What these other promotions need to do is look at the UFC schedule. And I know they don't want to because it feels like they're being big manned out of business. Like, no, this is our date. And we believe in our product. Be smart about this. Look at that shitty Apex card and tell me that wouldn't be a perfect weekend for you to completely. I'll put this out there right now. I would have watched this card instead of Garcia versus Onama. Easily. Or I wouldn't be a combat sports fan. Or I wouldn't have been a combat sports fan. Problem is, I can't watch it over Bo Nickal's return, Prates Edwards, Morales Brady, Benil versus Benoit, Zhang versus Shevchenko, and Makhachev de la Madalena. Like, I just can't skip that for this. But
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think in the future they'll probably do a better job about, scheduling wise. But I said the exact same thing. And I was like, man, like, you have this fight going on and, they're like, hey, we're catering to the Japanese side of the world. And it's always on Sunday. I was over here and I was like, why is every event on Sunday? Every event is on Sunday. Somebody come and told me, it was like, in Japan, they work 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Sunday is the only day off that they have out here. So that's why every event, because I always thought about like Ryzen, Dream, Pride, it's always on Sunday. Sometimes it'll be on Saturday, but it's always Sunday. But it's good that go ahead.
Go on. Okay. One thing I wanted to chuck in as a curveball. Someone who's had some rough road of things in the UFC recently in terms of damage, and a good friend of yours is someone I've always thought would be like it. If his contract ever runs out and he feels like he isn't being paid enough by the UFC, you know how you made the transition to ONE FC and you got kind of traded, but it worked out very well for you.
Yep.
What about Khalil Rountree in 4-ounce gloves in a Muay Thai fight over at ONE FC? I think he'd truly be valued over there. I think he would really be valued way more than he would be in the UFC.
1,000%. But I think the biggest thing you have to run into with Khalil Rountree is who is he going to fight at light heavyweight? So he's fighting. No, he fights at light heavyweight. Jesus Christ, he's that big, 205? God. So you would have to find a 205. That's the problem, is that there's not a lot of big 205 pounders in Muay Thai. So he would have to go kickboxing, I feel like.
Would it be Ong Lan Sang or something? Ong Sang? Is this the guy's name?
Ong Lan Sang, he just retired. He was MMA.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a problem. Like when it comes to the Muay Thai and kickboxing, it's a smaller division. It's like 115 to like 155 at the highest, maybe 135. You have Hiro Akamoto, so they're a lot smaller. To where even like Merab, that division, I can't remember, because like the divisions are hard to keep track of because they do the hydration, so you don't really know where they're at. But yeah, he'll be very valued over here. But I just think there's not enough athletes in his division. Like maybe a super fight, like he comes over here and they find a badass Thai who's that big. Like I think he's even bigger than fucking what's the legend? Sangwon Chai and God, what's his fucking name? He still fights. Badass legend of Muay Thai, Bakao. Like he's bigger than Bakao, so it's
very big fucking legend.
Right. So I think he's too big for Muay Thai over here. Like even when he's training with some of the guys, he's way bigger than him. So, but I think he'll be very valued over here. Not that he's not valued in the UFC, but I think he loves Muay Thai way more than MMA.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I think that'd be something that you just thrive in. Like even the crowd is different over there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But, it's for everything. Like if someone moves out the way of a low kick and counters it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like I hate to do this, but you ever played Wii bowling?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you miss the thing, it hits the gutter, and they go, oh, like it's anything. They go nuts in the background. They just appreciate it that much, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right. They appreciate it that much.
And when you lose, it's not bad. Like there's like, hey, good job. It's not like you fucking suck. It's like totally different mindset over here, which I love, and that's why I love being a part. Like even when I got knocked out by Adriano, they're like, oh, it's all good. You got knocked out. Like it's bound to happen, you know. Then when I came back to America, I was like, you got knocked out. What are you talking about? I was like, oh no, it never happened. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't worry. Please don't make any memes. They wouldn't make memes over in Japan. You know what I mean?
No.
And I think that's good for Khalil because Khalil, again, he doesn't like that, does he? He doesn't like the shit talking.
Yep.
So if it does get to the point in Khalil where he's thinking, I don't think I've got it in me to make a run for the belt, and ONE FC, man, they're making some offers. They need fighters. They need big fighters. And if Khalil's in 4-ounce gloves in a Muay Thai fight, I know MMA fans are going to be like, let's watch this.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shit, man, I think we covered it aside. I mean, we got Armin taking on Dan Hooker coming up here pretty soon. Jake Paul is trying to find another opponent. You know, he goes from Gervonta Davis, someone who's 135 pounds, to Anthony Joshua, who's a heavyweight. It almost feels, we're talking about this, it almost feels desperate. It feels like Netflix is trying to put something together, right? I know, that fight it was almost kind of like under the sun that the fight got canceled. I think Jake Paul's fighting so much that even a Gervonta Davis fight was almost like kind of, Jake Paul's fighting again. It's like, I feel like with Jake Paul's journey, at one point it was like, okay, we're going on a journey. Jake Paul beats, Nate Diaz. He beats Anderson Silva. He beats Tyron Woodley. He loses to the Tyson, Tommy Fury. Okay, we're starting to go on a rise. And then it goes Mike Tyson. It's like, why the fuck are we going from, Tommy Fury to a legend, a man who almost died in the summertime, Mike Tyson? Then it's almost like, okay, now after that fight, I can't remember, He fights Mike Perry. I'm like, okay, now this seems like he's still climbing.
That was before. I feel like it was before.
Was it
That's
before?
the thing I think you're trying to get at. Yeah, I think Perry was before because he had this. Like, that's the thing. They went too much too soon almost.
Yeah.
Like with Jake Paul, it was like, okay, each one is like a little bit more and more interesting.
A step is, yeah.
Each one. And then boom, Mike Tyson on Netflix. And now everything else seems like, oh, all right, we're fighting. Gervonta Davis was still a big deal though, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
You know.
1,000%. I think it's a big deal, but it's almost like you're fighting a guy who's 135 and you're 182. It's like how, like, this would never fly in boxing. It was an exhibition match as well. It's just like I don't know. And then now it's going to Anthony Joshua. It's like it's just from the smallest, one of the smallest greats to one of the biggest greats. It's just like it's just hard for me to follow. Not hard to follow, but it's almost like desperate. Like he's out there searching, and it's like, all right, we landed on Anthony Joshua, and Netflix like just I don't know. Like maybe. People are like, oh, dude, you're just a fucking hater. It's like, no, I'm looking at it as a retired fighter and what's going on. Like when he was doing those stepping stones, it was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, good. Then Mike Tyson. Then now it's like Gervonta Davis, who's I just don't know. But they said Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. How do you think that's, how do you reckon that will play out if it happens?
Oh, dude. He ain't got a fucking chance. There's no way. Dude, there's no way in hell Anthony Joshua's got a fucking shot against Jake Paul.
You never know. You never know.
You never know, dude. This is the thing about it. Dude, it's puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Joshua could catch him.
Yeah.
You could get lucky and take out the great Jake Paul. No, I'm joking. I think he'll die. Jake Paul will get sent out the ropes. And that'll be it. That'll be the end of the big fun circus of Jake Paul. I don't know if they're doing this. This doesn't seem real. It seems like I feel like since he's been on Netflix, it's been kind of like it has to be massive.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be him versus Mike Perry on Netflix, or it's not worth it being on Netflix. It has to be a superstar.
Yeah.
And I don't think Joshua's the way to go with that. I would love to see, and I always put over my boy, and I'm going to put him over here as well. Fuck this Joshua thing. Let me see. And this would be on DAZN or Misfits or whatever, and it might be a bit of a step back for him. Jake Paul versus Darren Till, or Andrew Tate. Yeah, that's good. But if Andrew Tate beats that Chase D'Amour guy and then calls out Jake Paul, again, let's get that going. That's big names, but it's also part of the fun.
Yes, I agree. I like that Darren Till. I like that. I feel that's the matchup that needs to be made. But like you said, since it's on Netflix, they always got to have a big name. I mean, they even had Anderson Silva taking on Chris Weidman on the undercard as well. That was going to be fun to watch, just see who can get the final leg up on each other. I think they're 1-1, one injury.
In a boxing match?
It was a boxing match. Yep, they were talking about that as well.
See which one of their arms snaps this time round instead. Jesus. Both of them had the leg breaks, huh? Now they're up in there in boxing.
Yeah.
But that could have been good. But yeah, I'd love to see, that's what I think should be next for Jake Paul. Darren Till. What's Darren Till in the mix? He'll sell it.
Yeah, he will.
He'll sell it. He'll go nuts at a press conference, slamming it's a fucking mess and that lad. And he'll fling this around. And he even said on your pod, didn't he, that he would just give me $1 million. And
give me $1 million. I'll be happy. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Take whatever you want. Give me $1 million. My friends in chat. We're good. Buy his nice jackets and shit. I think they should do that one. So
give Till one fucking block asset shout out. Do anything. Honestly, he'd fight for free, I reckon. As long as he gets that one in there. Let's do Darren Till, Jake Paul, or at least something along those lines. Isn't Dillon Danis fighting against Anthony Taylor or something? I think he's got to fight.
Yes. We're about to have Anthony Taylor on the Mighty Cast. He's got to fight. Hopefully the MSG doesn't ruin that. But he's got to fight. So you got some stuff upcoming that we got to look forward to the UFC, the final one of the year. Joshua Van taking on Alex Pantoja, and then Merab making his return taking on Peter Yan. So we'll be back together on that to break down that after that event.
We won't be talking about that until after. So what you got about that flyweight title fight? Maybe we'll end on this.
Man,
Merab versus Yan 2 and Pantoja versus Van. What we got?
Dude, there's a part of me where I feel like Van can get it done. I'm not going to lie. I feel he can. But I'm never gonna go against, the the king of the flyweights right now, and that's Alex Pantoja. I think Alex Pantoja is going to go out there. I think if Alex suffers adversity and he gasses, I can see Van getting him and, basically knocking him out. Not knocking him out, but like TKO stoppage, just overwhelming him. But I foresee Pantoja going out there, getting a single leg, crossing that void, getting his back body triangle, and making it look easy, submitting him. It's either going to be an easy fight by Pantoja or grueling, just grinding out match going to Van. I don't see it going. I don't think I can see Pantoja squeaking out a decision over Van. Or I could be wrong, but that's how I visualize it.
But I think Pantoja.
Yeah.
Submission.
Yep.
I got Pantoja submission there, I reckon. This early prediction for me on this, but I just think Van, unfortunately, he might be a tad small, and Pantoja's very bullyish sometimes with the way that he drags these guys around. And you saw it with Kara France, the way he was ragdolling him in that fight, and even the way he was bullying him on the feet. And Kara France is a power puncher on the feet, short, stocky power puncher. Like, you got to watch out for him. And Pantoja goes at these guys with no respect. He did the same thing with Alex Perez. And I just think with Joshua Van only training MMA for it's been 6-7 years, man. Stop this fucking bullshit. Why is everything around that amount of time? Yeah. But he's been around that long since he's been doing MMA. And on the feet, when you're a talented striker, you can look good despite that amount of time doing something. You can have a natural talent in that. But when that type of thing will be exposed as he really hasn't been doing this for that long, is when Alejandro Pantoja has your back in a world championship fight on pay-per-view. Then it will be very obvious, this guy hasn't been training for a while. Yep. And I think that's where Pantoja will win. But I could see it, yeah. It could be, if it doesn't go, if the tide starts to turn and Van gets some momentum, he could be good. And then maybe Charles Johnson will indeed be the most underrated fighter on the entire history of the UFC. Because I don't know, he keeps KOing guys that are supposed to be the next big thing, but for some reason, Charles Johnson is never the next big thing. It's a funny twist.
It's a funny sport. It happens all the time.
And then Merab versus Yan 2 in the rematch is the other big fight on that card. And I reckon it's just fucking do it, Merab, and just get it. You know what I mean? Merab, one of my favorites, Peter Yan. Just fucking kill him. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, Merab is just too good. I think Merab is in a place. I think Merab can knock him out. I think after Merab showing against what he did to Corey Sandhagen, I think he can potentially knock out. I think he finishes him. I think Merab finishes Peter Yan this time. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. I think he does.
I see a vintage Merab domination 48-47 decision is the new term, because that's how Merab is. There'll still be close rounds, but it's still domination. It's just the way he chucks him around. It's he goes 3 rounds to 2 with Corey Sandhagen on the scorecards, but nearly finishes him in the second, right? That was the big improvement, but it's still just domination. Even the Umar fight was very close, and people were saying, dude, Merab dominated him, just fucking destroyed him. So I reckon we got a Merab 48-47, 49-46 decision win over Yan. I think Yan will be better. Merab won't shoot as much. He'll strike a bit more and do a bit better there as well, because that seems to be a bit more of his game these days. And if that happens, for the love of God, leave these bantamweights alone and give them a chance at life. You know, leave him alone, dude. He's fucking wrong at this point. I mean, who's next? It'd be Umar if he builds himself up, but I still think Umar needs another win. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the card. UFC 323. We'll be recapping that one afterwards on the next episode of the Mighty Guru Show. Stay tuned.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoyed this episode of The Mighty Guru, make sure you guys like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to never go live. Make sure you guys go follow MMA Guru. He's always dropping some amazing content. I think your best content that you dropped recently was the one with Hasbulla and John Jones grappling, and he saw his boner or whatever. That had me fucking dying. So, go
the best.
Give him a follow. Subscribe here. And I'm your host, Demetrious Johnson, and that's my man, MMA Guru. We will see you guys to the next episode of The Mighty Guru Podcast.
Goodbye. I chucked in my own goodbye there at the end.
That's okay. You can do that.